Right, 24. Learning from the Grinch. McSkiddy has learned a lot about how Grinch Enterprises operates. He wants to prepare for any future attacks from anyone else who hates Christmas. From a forensic analysis they did, she noticed that Grinch Enterprises performed some malicious activities. She wants to perform these on the same machine they compromised to understand her adversaries a little better. Can you follow along and help her prepare for other attacks? In this task, you will understand post-exploitation, understand how passwords are stored on Windows, dumped passwords from LSASS process on Windows, and you'll crack password hashes. The post-exploitation stage usually occurs after an attacker has gained unauthorized access to a system. During this stage, an attacker will aim to do the following. To escalate their privileges, an attacker will try to obtain sensitive information, documentation on how internal technology stacks work, or credentials for other systems, or critical functionality that is only available to higher privileged users, administrative portals, manage users, etc. So it's just privilege escalation. Maintaining persistence. With the target environment, an attacker would set up other mechanisms to maintain access to the environment if their current access is blocked or removed. The information retrieved in post-exploitation stage allows attackers to enumerate, identify, and exploit other components on the broader environment or network. Suppose an attacker has compromised a system that stores HR information. In that case, they can use the employee names and details to carry out social engineering attacks, such as phishing against these employees. In this case, we'll be looking at a common post-exploitation scenario where an attacker has gained access to a privileged user in Windows. It is prevalent for attackers to dump password hashes and crack them to retrieve clear text user passwords before covering the scenario. I've got to get rid of this beard. I'm just breathing in fluff. Oh, let's get a drink. Oh, that's better. Right. Before covering this scenario, let's take a brief look at password hashing, authentication in Windows, and why it's possible to perform these actions. A password hash represents the original password that has been converted. So it's been converted to another form. Hashing this password applies a one-way transformation to change the clear text password to a form that cannot be easily recognized. When a string is provided to a hash function, the output of the hash is a fixed-length string that is unique for the input provided. Various types of algorithm perform this hashing, including MD5, SHA-1, and SHA-256. I'm still dying that fucking fluffy beard. Alright, and then they give you an example. So password 123, run it through an MD5 hashing function, it will spit out this. If you can see from the example above, the password is converted to a string of seemingly random characters by the MD5 algorithm. Using password hashing allows systems to verify whether passwords are correct without storing the original password. If an attacker gets access to a system that stores clear text passwords, they can easily use these passwords for malicious purposes. However, if the password is hashed, it can be difficult for an attacker to retrieve the clear text passwords. This depends on the algorithm in use and the complexity of the password. While these hash functions are one way, that are supposed to make it difficult to retrieve the original form, under certain conditions the attacker can still recover the clear text password that corresponds to the hash. A common way to retrieve these clear text passwords, referred to as cracking hashes, is by bypassing various inputs to the hashing algorithm and checking whether the output corresponds to the hash. Was I good or naughty? I'm dying. I've had like a horrible sinus infection for the last couple of days. Plenty of drinking. So yeah, for example, if the password in question was this, or the hash. If the hash was this, the attacker knows the algorithm is MD5, and the attacker can try various passwords to see if the hash matches the original. So they chuck in password 12 and it spits that out, password 123 spits that out, and then password 1234 and it spits that out. Here you can see that the hash for 123, that one, matches the one that they had. So they now know that that is the password. How's it going? It's going good. Yes. Yeah, I had a pretty chill Christmas. Apart from the dying. Got one of these bad boys. Haven't really used it yet, other than like doing some like changing things around. So yeah, I can switch sources at a press of a button. I'll come up with some more interesting things to use that for later. It's got a voice changer on it as well, but I couldn't get it to work, or it keeps crashing. Right, Windows stores various screens. I'm just going to blow my nose quick. Just save you hearing me snot everywhere. Right, so authentication and hashing. Windows stores various credentials in the Security Accounts Manager, or a SAM database. Commonly, credentials such as user passwords are stored as hashes within the SAM database. The two most common hashes are LAN Manager, LM, or NTLM, which is the NT LAN Manager. This is the oldest form of password storage used by Windows that is kept around for legacy systems. The algorithm used to create this hash utilizes a limited character set. It's possible to try every single combination to retrieve the original. And then this is the more modern one that's used today. When a user logs into a local Windows machine, the LSASS, Local Security Authority Subsystem Service process, receives the user's credentials from the SAM database, compares it against the hash form of the user's password. If the hash of the password entered by the user matches the hash in the database, then the user can log in. Once the user successfully logs on, the LSASS process stores the user's credential in memory, and this is designed out of convenience. When a user accesses other resources, they don't need to re-enter their credentials constantly. The LSASS process provides those credentials. Dumping password hashes. If we deploy the machine attached to the task, let's do that now because it takes a little while to start. Then you can access the machine on the IP address. This machine is accessible in the browser. However, alternatively, you can also use RDP. Additionally, deploy the attack box, which will be used in the later section of the task. When the attacker gets access to a local Windows system, one of the things they would do would be to dump the password hashes stored in the LSASS process. Since the LSASS process has to interact with SAM database and store credentials in memory, it usually runs with more privileges than a standard user. For an attacker to interact with the LSASS, they also have to have high privileges. A standard tool is used to retrieve password hashes from memory. It's called Mimikatz. Oh, this is awesome. Mimikatz has various modules that can be used to extract different kinds of credentials from memory and use these credentials to access user accounts. For this exercise, we'll be using the Securalisa. That sounds right, isn't it? Securalisa. Whatever. Just using that module. Open PowerShell. Using the Start menu and navigate to the Mimikatz folder and run Mimikatz. Right. I should be able to do this from my machine. Actually, no, I wanted it from that one, didn't I? So let's split screen. Let's come this off again. Split view. That one. That's still initializing. Alright, just got a little bit longer to go. Yeah, how much long? Oh, not how much long. How was your Christmas? That is, I should ask. Not how much longer was your Christmas. I got this as well. Actually, I'll show you. I asked for the new Metroid game on the Switch, and got this, the special edition. It's fucking massive. The box is huge. It's like it's just ridiculous. So big. Like a normal Switch game. I don't know if I've got one close to hand. No, I don't. But yeah, like a normal Switch game is like yay big. So yeah, I'll do that on stream at some point. I wouldn't mind giving the other older Metroids a go. Actually, I've never done the one on the SNES. It looks like my VM has started now. Yeah, there we go. Right, I want a PowerShell. Right, I'm going to stop. Let me do stuff. Right, we're going to want to be in the... Where are we at? Admins. We want to be at desktop. And Mimikatz. And x64 folder. So from here we want to do ./Mimikatz.exe. Cool. And then use the following command to check if you have the appropriate privileges to run on the program. So we just type in privileges or privilege. I can type it correctly. Privil edge, comma, debug. 20 OK. So that's good. Once you verify that you have the appropriate privileges, we'll be dumping the passwords from LSASS using the secular module. So give that here. So you just type sec url sa comma log on passwords. Just dumping that out. Let's make that bigger so I can see. What did that spit out? Let's have a look at some of them. So you get things like the administrator username and then their hash there. What are they showing here? Dumping passwords. Yeah, I've done that. From the output above, you can see that we could obtain the NTLM hash and the SHA-1 hash. So those ones there. We can also get the other users. So some of them. There's some other ones. So we've got Emily. We've got her NTLM hash. Anyone else? No. Okay, so we've got an Emily. We've got admin. So if we look at this, let's try to crack the hash to retrieve the clear text password. In the previous section we mentioned that we could pass the combinations of potential input, use the compare hashing to get the target hash. In this case, we'll use a tool called John the Ripper to crack password hashes. To use John the Ripper, start the attack box and copy NTLM hash you recovered into a file called hash.txt. Alright, so I should have John on here already. Let's just double check. Yeah, cool. Alright, we're going to want to copy these somehow. We've got bidirectional copy. Can't tell. Right, let's go. Open folder. Make an empty trash. Advent of Cyber. Let's create a new folder for day 24. Let's just call it cats. Dump. Oh, I cancelled it. You fucking tit. Right, and then in here, on a mouse pad, save as. Right, so do we just want the hash on its own? Let's just copy that whole thing, just so I've got. And then where was Emily? Let's see, cat's dump. Why can't I name it? Oh, there. Right. So the raw dump there. And let's create. So they're just pushing rock queue into the output. Copy the end. Okay, so yeah, just the NTLM hash we want. So let's go back to there. Take it we're doing Emily's. Let's copy her NTLM hash. New. We'll save that as Emily NTLM. .txt. Alright. So on John, format NT. We're using user. You see what I'm typing? Yeah, you can. Check my head's not in the way. Share word list rocky.txt, and the hash file is in. Let's just get a link to it. I'll just drag it in. Okay. And -- pot equals output.txt. And hit enter. It's loaded the one hash. Couldn't open RockQ. Why not? Word lists. I didn't add this. Let's try that again. Again, it didn't work. What the fuck? Let's check I've got Rocky on here. It might be in a different place. Share. Word lists. Oh, I need to. Can we just use the .gc? That's better. So I can't read it. Let's stick that there. Extract. Are you kidding me? Just fucking extract it. In my downloads. Alright, so let's just change where I put it. If I get my folders up, downloads. Got Rocky? Yeah, cool. Right, so Kelly. So now it's in Home, Kelly, Downloads, Rocky TXT. Hey, cool. So it loaded the hash. It looks like it loaded that properly. And it's cracked the password by the look of it. The output above shows that John successfully cracked the password. Use cat command to read the cracked password, which will be in the format hash type password hash recovered password. So what are you supposed to cat? Just the output file. Yeah, cool. So you got the type of hash, the hash itself, and then the output. So what is the username of the other account? Well, we found that. That was Emily. What was the n till m hash? That was in my Word file. And what was the password? It was... Get rid of that. And that. Was 1234567890. Submit. And that is it. Cool, that's quite a good little demo into Mimikatz. Like, that will trigger every antivirus under the sun nowadays, but pretty cool. Let's close that. Let's terminate the machine since we're done with Christmas Eve.